If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh Ellahi, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Property Rebel with your host Arsh Ellahi. And in today's session, it's going to be a bit of a rant. I'm going to say, don't worry about what Dave in the pub says. Before we do that, I want to just remind you that this podcast is sponsored by the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment platform. We showcase all kinds of deals all over the UK, whether it's a below market value deal, a rent-to-rent deal, a lease option deal. We've got them all there. 3 ways to get involved. You can either go to a website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. Now, if you've got a smartphone, you can go to the App Store on your phone. So it's Android. You can go to Google Play Store. If you're Apple, you can go to the App Store and search for Property Investor and download it from there. Now, finally, we've all got WhatsApp. I know we've all got WhatsApp. We all use WhatsApp every day. It's become a pinnacle part of our business. Why don't you go to a WhatsApp, look for communities, search for Property Investor app, and actually join our WhatsApp community. It really is as simple as that. Now, let's get started. Don't trust Dave. We've all got a Dave down the local pub, or a Dave or a Karen on Facebook that thinks they know it all. But the reality is they've not actually done a single thing. But they've read a post on Facebook in a group where they've taken that as gospel. Now, the reason why I say this is because I took a call today. Now, you may know or you may not know that I run a program called the 1 Hour Property Coach, where people can book a 1 hour coaching call with me. So you don't have to go on an expensive mentorship, and you can literally book a call for £250. And in that £250, you tell me exactly what your issue is, and we cover it. So it's very much targeted to you and what you're looking to achieve. So anyway, this guy calls me. He goes, I heard from a post on Facebook that I can do this, and this. Let me give you an example. So they're based in the West Midlands, specifically Wolverhampton, which is the city that I'm originally from. And they said that I can get a standard single let and I can convert it into HMO, and I can run up to an 8-bed HMO. And I can do it, and I can buy the house for, let's say, £200,000. Now, 8 rooms based on a fag packet valuation of £500 a room. That's going to produce £4,000 a month, which is £48,000 a year. And he goes, sounds brilliant, doesn't it? He goes, I don't know why more people are not doing this. I said, just out of curiosity, I said, where have you heard about this? He goes, yeah, I read a post about it on Facebook. And he goes, a friend of mine is a property investor as well. And he goes, he's doing it successfully. I thought, right, okay. He goes, I thought I'd reach out to you because you're based in Wolverhampton. He goes, I'm prepared. I'm in the process of negotiating on a property to do this. And I said to him, right, let's take this one step back. I said, I don't want to burst your bubble, because I'm a big advocate for saying that you can make money and a decent cash flow from running a HMO if set up correctly. He goes, what do you mean by that? I said, so what's your interpretation of running a HMO? He goes, yeah, you just buy a house and you may need to stick some fire doors on, and then you rent it out room by room. I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's part of the fundamentals. What else do you know about running a HMO? He goes, that's about it. I said, anything about licensing, anything about fire protection? I said, cost of conversion, you're going to put in en-suites, how many bathrooms have you got? How many kitchens have you got? How big is your lounge area? You looked at anything like amenity standards? Now, I wasn't saying this to be negative. I'm never negative. What I'm trying to do is be realistic. I said, more importantly, I said, the biggest thing before you even cover all that is, have you checked to see whether Wolverhampton City Council is an Article 4 city? He goes, what's Article 4? So I had to go through what is Article 4. Article 4 is where you're going to require planning permission. So to convert anything from a single let into a multi-let. He goes, no, my mate says that you can just convert any house into a HMO. Okay. How many houses has your mate converted? He goes, he read it somewhere on Facebook. So he hasn't really done one. He just read something, somewhere, generic, and you're now taking that for gospel. I said, you're now going to go and spend almost like £200,000, £250,000 on a house based on just what your mate said. He goes, yeah, but he seemed really convinced. I said, right, okay. And that's where I had to come in and say, forget what your mate said. Wolverhampton City is an Article 4 city, which means that you cannot turn anything from a single let into a multi-let without planning permission. That means that you've got to research your area to see how many HMOs are within that area. And if more than 10% of the area within 100 meters circumference is a HMO, there's very little chance that you're going to get planning permission granted. Not saying that it's impossible, but you've got to apply for planning permission. Planning permission is always a 50-50 chance. 50% granted, 50% rejected. More importantly, you're now trying to run an 8-bed HMO. Even in a non-Article 4 area, you can only run up to a 6-bed. And then anything over 6-bed, you're going to need planning permission. So even if we're in non-Article 4, you'd still need planning permission to convert up to 8. Now, I said, this property that you're looking at that you want to convert into a 8-bed, how many bathrooms has it got? He goes, yeah, it's got 2 bathrooms. Okay, I thought, yeah, well, okay, if you've got communal lounge, how large is your communal lounge? He goes, no, we're not going to give them communal lounge. We're going to use that as another bedroom. So you've got 8 people now, no communal lounge, 2 bathrooms. Even if you got through planning permission, which you wouldn't get through housing standards. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to say to him, there's a lot more that you need to consider. You need to speak to someone, and luckily now you are, about how to set this up correctly. And luckily, I saved him a lot of money because he'd put an offer on this house through an estate agent on the basis that he was going to convert it into 8-bed HMO that's going to generate £48,000 a year. And he thought, you know what? I'm going to leave work. I'm going to live off this one property. Sounds great, but the reality is it would never have happened. And I felt really bad, but I'm really glad I saved him £250,000. Luckily, he hadn't paid for the survey yet. He'd probably paid the solicitor £200 on account to open the file. And off the back of that, he's now gone to, I've told him not to do another thing. I've told him to go off and research about Article 4. I told him to go and see how many of the HMOs are within that location. And I've also told him to go and speak to an architect and also the planning department to see what's the likelihood of an application getting approved in this location. On top of that, we're then going to have a look at the layout of the property. Is it the right layout? Is it the right property? Will all the rooms meet size requirements? Will it have the amount of required amenities? How many bathrooms? How many kitchens? How many lounge area? How large is it? More important, how big are the bedrooms? Are they over nearly 10 square meters? Because again, 6.5 square meters is the national average, but a lot of local councils apply local standards, which means that Wolverhampton want 10 square meters. How big are your rooms? Has it got fire doors? Do we need to put a fire alarm in? Have you considered the cost of conversion? So these were all the questions that I asked. And believe it or not, answer was no, don't know, never heard of that, never heard of that, never heard of that, never heard of that. And honestly, I was just flabbergasted that he was prepared to take Dave and Karen's word on the street, on Facebook, on a social media platform as gospel. So guys, I know that you're smarter than this. You're listening to the Property Rebel because you're smarter than that. So I just want you to be aware that if you've got an issue or you want to discuss something in property, you can book a call with me, the Property Rebel. I'll put a link somewhere in the show notes shortly. Or if you want, you can just go to my website, www.arshellahi.com. Go to the inquiry page and just say, Arsh, I want our property coach call, and I'll get back in contact with you. It costs £250, but it's going to save you £250,000. So it really is crazy. But Dave and Karen, they don't know it all. And I don't want them to know it all because guess what? What they gave this guy that called me today is completely bad advice, and it could have lost him a lot of money. So we've saved him a lot of money. Not to say that the deal still can't be done, but we want to do all the due diligence beforehand to make sure that we're moving forward. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that bit of a rant, and I don't mind a bit of a rant now and again. I think it's because I'm getting old, but feel free, like, share, do whatever you need to this podcast, send it to a friend. But I'm not a Dave, I'm not a Karen, I'm actually telling you because I've been doing this for 25 years. Set up God knows how many HMOs, dealt with how many issues, still here to tell the tale. I'm running the marathon. I've not run the sprint. I'm still running. I'm on the journey. So guys, really hope that you've enjoyed that. Feel free, like I said, to share, subscribe, send this out to your friends. And then finally, why don't you, as I mentioned at the start, go and check out the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment platform. Showcasing all kinds of deals all over the UK, whether it's a below market value, rent to rent deal, lease option deal. We've got them all there. Go and check them out. You can either go to a website, propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. You can go to the if you've got a smartphone, go to the App Store, type in Property Investor. If you've got WhatsApp, I know you have, go and check out our WhatsApp community by searching Property Investor app. And we're putting up a lot of these on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on audio, you want to see what my ugly mush look like, go to YouTube, check out Arsh Ellahi or the Property Rebel. And then finally, go and check me out on social media. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under the handle of Arsh Ellahi. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this podcast, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.